Right now at 6, neighbors near Portland's ICE facility weigh in on the reality of living next door.
It feels to me like the narrative isn't accurate.
As police search for a suspect they say assaulted someone who was live streaming, then made a run for it. Plus, trial now underway for the Portland pot shop worker accused of returning to gun down the people who just robbed him. Then, how local senators are digging in and pointing the finger on day one of a government shutdown.
Republicans may shut down the government, but they're not going to shut down this debate.
And later, why Portland's mayor is doing a 180 when it comes to extended parking hours. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm David Molko. We begin at 6 with what appear to be new arrests at Portland's ICE facility. A Homeland Security spokesperson reporting its officers arrested 6 people during demonstrations on the South Waterfront last night. Federal officials adding, and this is a direct quote, over 100 rioters stormed an ICE facility. That is something KGW has not been able to independently verify. What we did see in the evening hours, though, is roughly 40 protesters outside the facility and a total of 4 to 5 people being detained over the course of several hours. One, it appears, for posting a flyer on the building, another for resisting orders. No word yet on any charges there. But meanwhile, Portland police released these pictures of a suspect wanted in connection with an assault they say that happened last night outside the ICE facility. Police tell us the victim was live streaming and was struck in the face with a flagpole around 8:30. A dialogue liaison officer was there, but according to police, the liaison cannot get involved in enforcement actions. Authorities say the officer tried to stop the suspect, again in these photos, but she got away before other officers arrived. I want to bring in Kyle Aboshi live on the South Waterfront. So Kyle, you have new information related to National Guard troops who are mobilizing as we speak. But first, I'm curious to know what you're seeing on the ground right now.
Things are relatively quiet this evening in front of the ICE facility. There are a small number, maybe 10 to 12 peaceful protesters. Occasionally, we've seen federal agents on the roof or inside the fence, but certainly no clashes between the two. This as the Oregon National Guard prepares for training in advance of deployment.
200 members of the Oregon National Guard will train at Camp Rylea in Warrenton before being deployed to Portland, explained Senator Jeff Merkley.
Training in crowd control, training the rules for the use of force before being deployed.
It's not clear when troops will be on the ground in Portland. The focus of their mission, the ICE facility, where a small group of peaceful protesters assembled Wednesday afternoon. Just 2 blocks away,
It's nice down here, you know?
All Your Heart Coffee was filled with neighbors, medical students, and professionals. Shop owner Chris Johnson.
It feels to me like the narrative isn't accurate when you hear that the city's on fire.
The ICE facility sits in southwest Portland, away from the downtown core, in an area not so easy to access. Most Portland residents are more likely to recognize neighboring businesses, such as the Oregon Ballet Theater or Old Spaghetti Factory.
It's a great environment here, honestly.
PJ Smith and his dog Tofu live in the South Waterfront neighborhood, where sleek high-rise apartments and condos overshadow the ICE office.
It's not a war zone. There's nothing here that's, scary. I mean, I'm walking out here in a hoodie and shorts, for crying out loud.
President Trump ordered the deployment of the Oregon National Guard into federal service for 60 days after repeatedly raising concerns about Portland, including comments Wednesday on Truth Social calling the city a never-ending disaster. For several months, a small group of demonstrators have gathered in front of the ICE facility, leading to occasional clashes with federal agents protecting the building. Previously, the ICE office has been the site of large-scale protests, including the 2018 Occupy ICE encampment. But never have these demonstrations triggered the deployment of the National Guard.
One indication of how things have changed in the past 24 hours since the U.S. Army's Northern Command took over. Any questions about deployment are no longer handled on a state level. Instead, they're referring questions to the Department of War.
In so many ways, we are in uncharted waters right now. Kyle Aboshi in South Portland. Thank you, Kyle. Stay with KGW for continuing coverage, of course, as this all plays out. We'll keep you posted on any National Guard activity on the ground, as well as that emergency court hearing that is still set for Friday morning. We'll have those updates here on KGW.com and on our free TV app. It is KGW Plus. Okay, taking a live look this evening at the nation's capital, where the federal government has been shut down for nearly 24 hours now, with Democrats and Republicans still pointing fingers. The result of their disagreement, if we can call it that, millions of federal workers now without pay and key government services disrupted. So Democrats want a clean funding bill to protect health care subsidies, while Republicans push for spending cuts and policy changes. Now, because the Senate needs 60 votes to pass most bills, neither side could get enough support.
The sad thing about it is that every single bit of this was entirely avoidable. Democrats could have worked with us in a bipartisan manner to avert this unnecessary and very harmful shutdown.
Americans are already facing a dual affordability and health care crisis thanks to Donald Trump's tariffs and Republicans' big ugly law. And now, because Republicans refuse to come to the table and negotiate with Democrats, Americans can suffer even more.
So what about the local impact? Well, Social Security checks will still go out, though new claims may be delayed. Student loans must still be paid and new aid will still be dispersed. SNAP or food benefits continue, though only as long as the funding lasts. Celine Stevens takes a closer look at the debate and the impact.
Nearly 80,000 federal workers in Washington state and thousands more in Oregon are bracing for furloughs or working without pay as the government shutdown begins.
Republicans may shut down the government, but they're not going to shut down this debate.
Senator Patty Murray says Democrats are fighting to protect health care and prevent cuts that could make coverage more expensive.
Democrats are fighting to reverse the cuts, lower costs, and protect health care for the people we represent back home.
Washington's insurance commissioner warns as many as 80,000 people could drop coverage if enhanced federal tax credits expire.
That people are going to find it very hard to absorb these increases without financial help. Our exchange predicts that 80,000 people will drop coverage if enhanced premium tax credits are not extended.
But Republicans say Democrats are to blame for the standoff, accusing them of refusing to compromise.
The sad thing about it is that every single bit of this was entirely avoidable. Democrats could have worked with us in a bipartisan manner to avert this unnecessary and very harmful shutdown. There is nothing new in this legislation. There's no poison pill. There's no partisan tricks. There's no gimmicks whatsoever.
Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley says the shutdown is already hurting working families.
What we do know is how Oregonians are going to be hurt by the projected 68% increase when they sign back up for insurance in November on the exchange.
Economists say the pain could be widespread, not just for federal employees, but also for small businesses and families that depend on federal programs.
Families are going to experience hardships. Small businesses that depend on government cash flow are going to experience hardships. Some services are not going to be available during this period. Contractors that depend on the government cash flow.
He says the last major shutdown cost the U.S. economy billions.
In the past experience, like a few years ago, we had another shutdown that amounted to over $10 billion. And there's income loss because some government services that generate income, like taking care of parks and recreation areas and whatnot, all of that business is shut down during that shutdown period. So no one is going and spending income there.
Sort of a domino effect, right? Celine Stevens reporting. Our team also reached out to Republican Congressman Cliff Bentz for comment that we haven't heard back yet. Worth noting, this federal shutdown does not at this point impact the National Guard's looming deployment to the Rose City. Well, turning now to your forecast with a live look outside at Salem on this Wednesday evening, a day when we saw rain, wind, and yes, even the occasional patch of blue sky. Chief Meteorologist Matt Zafinos here. So Matt, when will things dry out?
You know, they dried out this afternoon. They're not completely dry, but we'll see some massive drying out as we go into the end of the week and the weekend. Here is the Dalles right now, a little shaft of light out there, the Columbia River. Temperature there 62, and the wind is fairly robust, up at 25 miles an hour with the gust. Not as strong as what we had on the coast last night when we had gusts over 50 miles an hour, but still a little blustery. Interestingly enough, we're actually warmer now than we were at this time yesterday by 4 or 5, even 6 degrees. Remember, yesterday, all the warm weather came in the first half of the day, and then it got cloudy and rainy. Today was the opposite. We had the rain early. and then the clearing later on. Pendleton, quite a bit cooler, as you can see, 11 degrees cooler. Now, here are the breaks that we're getting over on the west side of the valley. This is the reserve Skycam, 63 degrees here, and south winds are still, again, a little bit gusty, 14 miles an hour. But after tomorrow, that's when we begin to see much drier weather roll on in. And today wasn't bad. A lot of thunderstorms in northeast Oregon, but for the valleys, now that the showers have ended, we're going to see a lot of dry time overnight tonight. The rainfall, as you see here, about 0.15 of an inch in Portland. We have another day of showers tomorrow, but a dry weekend on the way, and then much warmer weather next week. We'll show you how warm in a bit, David.
Oh, that's going to make a lot of folks happy. Thanks, Matt. Opening arguments began today in the trial of a Portland cannabis store employee accused of killing 2 men during an attempted robbery. John Adams was in the courtroom.
As the defense and prosecution made their opening arguments on Wednesday morning, we were able to listen to 911 audio and see body cam and security video of the incident. 35-year-old Jason Steiner sat mostly silent in the courtroom as the 12-member jury who will decide his fate listened to facts being presented by the state and his defense. Steiner was the only employee working at the La Mota cannabis shop on the night of October 3rd, 2024. When surveillance video shows 3 masked men enter the store and hold Steiner at gunpoint. They eventually force Steiner out of the front door of the building while they appear to steal products from inside the store. The video then shows Steiner going around the corner and grabbing a semi-automatic handgun out of his bag before returning and firing 13 shots. He then retreats across the street and placed this 911 call.
About the La Mota dispensary. I have 3 members who tried to rob me. I just shot 3 of them. I just shot at them, engaged the 3, and then ran away.
According to court documents, Steiner told police he returned to fire on the 3 men because he was afraid they would hunt him down. 20-year-old Tahir Burler and 18-year-old King Lawrence were both pronounced dead on scene. Body camera video from Portland police shows their interaction with Steiner after they arrived that night.
Do you know if I killed anyone?
We'll wait to speak with detectives. I'm not sure. I've just been hanging out with you.
Yeah. I didn't want to hurt anyone.
Steiner was arrested days after the incident and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder.
The evidence in this case will show that the defendant had a number of options available to him. A number of options other than killing.
Steiner's lawyer says he was justified in his actions.
Jason Steiner is not guilty of murder or any other charges in this case because he was justified, and Oregon law allows for the justified use of deadly force in exactly the situation that this one.
Steiner has entered a not guilty plea on all charges. In downtown Portland, John Adams, KGW News.